Good day to all. I'm Harlequin. This is my son Tristan.
Hey.
And I am not a medical expert, nor am I an autism specialist. What I am is a single parent who has a son that has ASD. And this is a peaceful site, so any negative comments, any hateful comments, or any trolling comments will be removed. And today in the video, we're going to be discussing his school journey. He's currently in 8th grade, which is his last year of middle school. And then next year he'll be in his first year of high school. He currently attends school online. So he attends school on the computer at home with me right there with him being his one-on-one. Up until this year, he has been going to in-person schooling, and it's been a bit of a rough road. There's been some bumps and bruises and some little hard times, but there's also been some very successful, very awesome days. He's an amazing student. Academically, he does really well. He's smarter at math than I am. And he's just great. He was not diagnosed with ASD until he was 5 years old. And he's been going to school since high five. Now here in the States, I don't know about out of the States, but here in the States, high five is kind of a pre-kindergarten program that you go to basically get ready for kindergarten and get ready for your school career. So he's been going to high five, then kindergarten, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. And once he was diagnosed with ASD, things got a bit better because he was able to participate in the autism programs in his schools. There's a number of schools in the Minneapolis school district. We're in Minneapolis, Minnesota, who have autism programs in the school. Unfortunately, one of the hiccups that we were dealing with were bullies, because there were neurotypical students who didn't quite understand Tristan and didn't quite understand what autism was. And those were a few things that we had to deal with. One thing that he does is he does scripting, and he does a lot of repetition with his scripting. And there were some students who didn't really understand that that was part of autism and thought that Tristan was making fun of them and mocking them. So they would retaliate in unkind and uncivil ways. Let's see. Tristan, do you want to say anything more about the bullies at all?
I'd rather tell the basic evolution line of my school life.
Okay, we'll get there. So there was that complication. And then, first I want to say that the teachers in the autism program were good working with Tristan and, trying to keep things safe and civil and everything like that. It's just that sometimes things just happen and things just get complicated. I did get some phone calls throughout the years that I had to work with Tristan and the staff through the phone to get him settled and more regulated. There were a few times where I've had to go pick him up from school. And as you can see back there, Tristan's kind of tired. He had kind of a rough school day today. Technology wasn't really cooperating that well. So we had a rough day. Like I said, there are some good days and there are some kind of rough days. And as always, this video is going to be unedited, so it's not going to be smooth sailing. But in later years, more specifically the beginning towards recently this year, Tristan was having quite a bit of trouble with his anger and outbursts. What he calls a short fuse. There are situations that was making him angry, that he wasn't cooperating, and see, he's falling out right there. Just trying to act up for the camera, but that's just not going to work. So I'm going to just keep going. And it came to the many times where he would get physical, unfortunately, with the staff and with the other students. And there were times where I had to go pick him up from school, and where he got to the point where he was suspended because of his behaviors towards other students and other staff. Tristan, do you want to say anything about your short fuse at all?
Very often would lead to me start attacking and hurting people. Very often the people who angered me to try and get my way. I am very easy to anger, and once on my boiling point, I cannot. In my raging rampage cannot be stopped. That is all I will say.
Okay. So anyway, it just got to the point where during IEP meetings, it was decided that that he might be better in another environment, like a level 3 or a level 4 environment, which is more individual one-on-one based and more catered to his specific needs. So exploring what would be the best option for him, it was decided that the best option would be for him to do online schooling, which he is in right now. He attends MPS online, which is Minneapolis Public School online. And so he does his schooling at home with me right by him as his one-on-one. It's a familiar environment. And there's not a lot of chaos and not a lot of other students and staff around the environment. So he is more centered and more focused on his classroom and on his work. And he is in the special needs program in MPS Online. And as such, he does have one teacher for all 6 of his classes. So one teacher and one set of staff. There's 3 staff in there. There's the main teacher and 2 other teachers that are in there, plus all the other students in the class. And it's from grades 6 all the way through grade 12. So as long as he's in this MPS online program, he is going to have the same teacher all the way through. And currently there are students in there from grade 6 through grade 12. I had mistakenly thought they were all 8th graders, but that was incorrect. I don't know how many in each grade there are, because I don't know the students like that. But I have to say, even in online classes, there are a couple of times where things are a little bit more rough going than others, where like today, there's a technology issue that Tristan was getting rather frustrated with, and we had to deal with him more self-regulating with that, and that was more important than attending class. There have been times where he had been getting upset with the work he was doing, where he wanted to do something else, but the class was doing another thing, and we just had to work around that and compromise with that. So one of the favorite things that he does do at school, because the schooling does work at his pace and everything, is there's this program called Prodigy, and it has a math program and also an English program. And what it basically is kind of like a role-playing fighting type game using math skills and English skills. And he does really well with that, and he loves that. Those are his absolute favorite things to do in his online classes. In his study skills class, where basically he can catch up on work and everything like that, he always goes to either Math Prodigy or English Prodigy and work on that. So that's where we are at right now. We do have it set up where he is going to be going to MPS online school for next year as well. So basically things are going really great right now. But I would like to address his past school years also, and the little rough times we've had. Because I firmly stand on the belief that if there is a school that allows students that have ASD into classrooms, that there should be educational opportunities for neurotypical students to learn about their peers, to learn about students who have ASD, so they can understand what's going on. A lot of things that Tristan has done is he does a lot of hand flapping, chest slapping, and head slapping. He does that when he gets either excited or agitated, and it's really hard for him to keep regulated. And also some things that he does is he doesn't really know social boundaries. He doesn't really have a clear understanding of people's bubble. So when he's interacting with people, sometimes he gets too close to them and it makes them uncomfortable. Do you want to say anything in that regard, Tristan?
I would like to do the evolution of my school life so far now.
Okay. So those are just a few struggles that he was dealing with. Like I said, I think there should be education opportunities for neurotypical students to learn more about ASD, so they might better understand their peers and what's going on, and understand that that even though students with ASD may act differently, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Tristan has been wanting to talk about his schooling evolution, so I'm just going to let him take the stage real quick before I talk more with you.
I can't really remember what happened in the original preschool, but I remember I would be the chaotic and good type, where I would be cause very much chaos, but be very much good at the same time. And for kindergarten, I remember that I was still the good type of kid, in which I would always be. One time, my girl was literally shooting some kind of liquid out of her eyes, which was strange. Then there was first grade, which I can't really remember a lot of the details, but I think it was fun. Second grade, I can remember very well. Oh my! And we would usually play games such as Star or Fall, like such as Coin Monkey. That was one of my favorites back then. Then we have the third grade, which was again pretty good. Fourth grade wasn't really the best. One time I got my hair pulled by the teacher. Fifth grade, I'd say was pretty good. It wasn't really the best, but I'd say it was good. That was the first time I ever used Lexia and Dreambox. Both being both being in school in websites like C being English, and Dreambox being math, A being I don't know what Dreambox is. Then there's sixth grade, which wasn't really my best, is my best this time. I wouldn't really get angry very easily. In seventh grade, which was when I started gaining my short fuse. And then there's now, which is where I would always eventually snap or lose control, I also would have my energy drained a lot quicker than normal, as well. I'll sometimes be bored very often.
Anything more?
Nah.
Alright. So going off what he said, that is very important to note. He didn't start with his anger issues, which he causes short fuse, until 7th grade. And then it just kept escalating. Going by the age versus grade and everything like that, it can be presumed that around that time is when puberty was starting, and it has been thought of that might have been a contributing factor to the behaviors that he was exhibiting. He is on medication to help him with his short fuse. He is on guanfacine, which helps with his anger issues, and he is on Adderall, and he is on Lexapro. The Lexapro helps him with his anxiety, which helps him a lot because throughout his school time, I found out with a meeting with his psychiatrist that from the moment that he stepped onto the school bus in the morning until he stepped off of the school bus at home in the afternoon, his anxiety was skyrocketed. And with his anxiety so high, it stands to reason that he was in his fight or flight mode the whole day, with just really high anxiety. Excuse me.
Gesundheit.
And it just turned out to be a really rough going. Now that being said, with the whole bully situation, with his rough days, he did have really good days where he was attentive in class, participating, and just having a really nice time. But now, just rounding back to his online school this year, things are going really, really well. He participates. He always has his camera on his Chromebook. He's always ready.
Excuse me.
Say again?
Excuse me.
Okay, thank you. He always is ready to answer questions. Even if it's not exactly the right answer, the fact that he just answers the question the best that he can he's always on top of that. And it's gotten to the point where he is so good with class that I have a timer set for when he is to log back into class, because he has a 10-minute break in between all his classes, that when I go tell him that it's time for class, he's already on top of it and ready to go. So this online class has been an extremely positive experience. And if I had known previously to this time that his anxiety was so high and that online would be going as well as it really is, I would have gotten him into online schooling far before this one. But that's my mistake as a parent, that I had thought that the best environment for him would be in person, because I really wanted him to interact with peers and interact with, staff and everything like that.
Little did you know it caused me to become a very angry boy.
Little did I know that it would have the issues that it was having. But I learned from my mistake, and we moved him to online classes, and he is doing very well. at some point in time, I hope to be having an interview with his teacher for the video here. And this video has now gone on for a little over 20 minutes. So I'm going to end things here. I just want to say I haven't hit every single point that I wanted to hit between, high five all the way to this year. But as I said, this is unscripted, unedited. This is just in its raw video form. That's actually basically because I really don't know how to edit videos at all or anything. So I just record and I send, and that's pretty much all I can do. If you have any questions or comments at all about this, please, in a positive way, please feel free to put them in the comment section, and I will always leave time at the end of my videos to answer questions.
And if you have any questions, and for me, leave them in the comments, and I can answer them. We may even do a Q&A to answer some of those questions if you guys are lucky enough.
Yeah. So
it could be live.
Yeah. So that'll be it for this video. If you do like this video, please remember to like and subscribe.
And hit the notification bell and comment on what you thought of the video.
And that'll be it for now. As I always say, I'm going to let you know what's going to be in the next video. So in our next video, we're going to be introducing Bevan into the mix. And basically, I'll tell you what she means for our family. She's not just a member of our family. Bevan is our dog, by the way. But she's also Tristan's emotional support animal. And I'll get into what that means for him. He'll probably, comment on that and play with her a little bit in the background and everything. And how she works with us. So at 22 minutes and 27 seconds, 29, 30, 31 seconds.
Stop.
Okay. All right. That'll be it for now. Bye, guys.
Ta-ta for now, and keep that cool fire burning, and my fellow friends.